Do you ever feel like you want to become that girl and you have been trying to for the past few years? You train hard, you dream big, and 2026 feels like that year for you, but you just need that clarity and plan to actually execute it. If that sounds like you, go say. I felt like that for years, and I have been doing the bigger work. I have got places. I am really proud of where I've got to, but we are dreaming big this year. We are not holding ourselves back. In this video, we're gonna have a big sis chat, and I'm going to take you step by step the exact framework that I have done. I've done with my clients, I've done with myself, and I'm gonna do myself this year. I used to rebrand my life and plan my year so it actually works. And I'm gonna be planning my 2026 year alongside you guys. This isn't about doing more. Like, if you're coming to this video thinking it's about burning yourself out, doing more, this is not the video for you. I've done that, and that's not what we do here. This video is about being intentional. I am not spending another minute holding myself back. I need to get out of my head, and if this sounds a bit like you, then that's what we're gonna do together. I don't know about you guys, but as we head into this year, there's been so much content revolving around the new year, goal setting, goal planning, and honestly, it gets a little bit overwhelming when you start to think about 365 days of the year. I need to think of it and break it down into bite-sized, digestible chunks, because my ADHD brain is not having it. It's not gonna take it. Because honestly, something I've learned from over the years, from building a business 3 times, moving across the world twice, building a really successful coaching company, transforming my physique, real change does not come from doing absolutely everything at once. It comes from doing things in steps. And what we need to do is break that down to make sure every single goal that you have for this year is actually achieved. So before we even think about who you want to become in 2026, this is me included, we need to almost review who we were last year. Which brings me into perfectly step 1, the yearly audit. I genuinely know how exciting it is to go into this new year thinking of all the big goals that you want to do, all the big dreams that you want to achieve. But genuinely, one of the best pieces of advice that I have is for us to be able to do that is by first collecting data. What you're going to do first is actually review how 2025 went, and then that is going to give us sort of data to move forward into 2026 and reviewing of like, okay, what happened, what went well, what didn't. So we're going to spend this first step reviewing 2025 so we can actually implement plans for 2026. So if you guys are ready, alongside me, I've got my laptop. Get your pen and paper, old school, get your notes out, get your cup of coffee. I've got my Paddington here because we are gonna go through the steps. Which brings me into the first step, the year audit. I genuinely know how exciting it is to go into a new year, looking forward to everything, thinking all the big dreams and goals that you want to achieve. Like, trust me, I get it. But what we want to do first, before even thinking about 2026, is look back on the previous year and think, okay, how can I look at that year to see what went well, what didn't, what do I need to improve, what do I need to change, so that we can implement that and look towards 2026. I want you to ask yourself these 4 questions, okay? These 4 questions are going to be such a game changer. Number 1 is, what were your 3 biggest wins from this year and why did they happen? So I really want you to take some time to digest, okay, what were my actual 3 biggest wins? Where did they come from? What made me feel my best? Maybe it was achievements, maybe it was financial, maybe it was self-development, okay? And I actually want you to ask yourself, why did they happen? Like, what did I put in? What planning, what arrangement, what challenges did I put in for that to happen? And the second question, on the flip side, I want you to think about your 3 biggest lessons, fails included, okay? And I want you to think of why they happened. And I always say that I never truly think we fail unless we fully give up. I really hold, like, hand on heart, truly believe that. And I think once we get past the fear of failure, once we get past the fear of almost embarrassment of something not working when you maybe tried, I actually want you to like ask yourself, okay, why didn't it happen? Doesn't mean that that's your story for the rest of the year. And actually we could use that data to go into 2026 to make sure those things don't happen again. Number 3, I want you to think about what drained your energy consistently last year. So think about the things that took away from you after you did them, made you not feel very good. That could be maybe hanging out with certain people. It could be maybe it's your job, maybe it's not putting boundaries in place, habits that you were doing that you knew didn't serve you, okay? So I really want you to think about these because it's going to be really important for the next step. And then number 4, again, on the flip side, what gave you the most amount of energy? So after you did that action or whatever it was, routine, thinking about, okay, what actually filled my cup up? What made me feel best? Did I notice that actually helped me progress in my goals, okay? I want you to answer those 4 questions because those are going to really help you move forward to think, okay, what do I need to do to move forward into 2026? Right, I'm telling you right now, and I've done this just now, I want you to go deep in this. I do not want you to hold back. I really don't want you to. It is hard, and sometimes you have to like face that initial, okay, this was very uncomfortable, but I promise you, I do not want you to beat around the bush with this. I genuinely had some awesome wins in 2025, but I am telling you, I also had some really massive losses and hard times. I'm human, like everyone else, but I use that data as much as I can to just see what can I do to look towards this next year to improve or spend less time doing something. And it just honestly helps you to see that every single thing that happens to you is not a failure. It is actually a lesson for us to either take and learn, or it's something that could drag us down. And I'm really gonna try this year, because past years I've allowed it to drag me down if I failed at something or something's not gone my way. And I want us to stop that, because that is holding us in our way, and we do not take that into 2026, okay? Like I said, by doing that yearly audit first as step one, what you're gonna see is what went right, what went wrong. You can see what you wanna add into 2026, what you wanna take away of, and actively start putting things that align with you to build your dream life. To finalize this step, what I want you to do is ask yourself, what do I want to take into 2026, and what do I want to leave behind in 2025? Leads me into step two. We're gonna start to envision 2026. Like, we are gonna really think about 2026, really start to see yourself as that person, embody it, think of what she does, how does she act, okay? I want you to actually start thinking, what does my life look like in 2026? What do my days look like? What projects am I working on? How am I dressing? How am I showing up? Who am I hanging out with? How do I talk to myself? Like, I really want you to go deep into this. What time are you waking up? What kind of foods are you eating? Really going deep. Like, I want you to literally picture that version of yourself, her life in front of you. And like I said, don't rush this. Like, I have spent a good half an hour just on this step alone, and it's just helped me to really sort of think, this is the person I'm becoming, so I need to be starting to put and embody this every day moving forward. Also, if you're a really visual person, what I would suggest is also doing a vision board. It has been proven that actually when you physically see something actually as an image, it really helps you to actually be able to put not just a dream thought together, but also visually see it, allows you to actually believe it's happening. So if you haven't already, I would take some time to do vision boarding. It's a great exercise, it's quite fun, but also it's something that you can look back on and put on your wall to remind you every day of, who am I becoming? What do I actually want to achieve? So you never steer away from your goals, or actually what you actually deep down want to achieve. And a final tip that really, really helps with vision boarding if you haven't already, great example, like Instagram, make folders. So I know that you're probably doom scrolling, which we're gonna work on, that's something we're gonna do down the line. But instead of doom scrolling, I actually want you to start utilizing content and putting folders in place. So you can save items on Instagram, but instead of just saving them and then you never use them again, I actually want you to make folders. So for instance, like things I have is like inspirational quotes, so I can go back on them to actually inspire me. I've got places that I want to visit this year, places I want to eat. I've actually created a folder, so I know that in 2026 these I'm like referring to, and it just helps you visually see things in a clearer step. And also you can refer back to them. So now we're gonna make obviously your vision board. I really want you to think about breaking your vision board into these sections. Who I want to be, how I want to live, and what do I want to do? This is genuinely going to give so much clarity, which is exactly what we want to do, because that's going to help us in the next steps moving forward. So we've done the review of last year, we've done the yearly audit, we've done the envisioning of what and who you want to become this year. So going into step 3 is really when you start to rebrand who you are. So I want you to stop seeing yourself as a person, and I want you to actually see yourself as a brand. This leads in from reflection that we did previously. And before we plan out our goals for the year, we really want to understand who we're becoming. So it gives that like idea of like, okay, where am I actually going with these plans? So I want you to start by actually creating a tagline for your year, which sounds really, really mad, but hold with me. Literally, hold with me. I want you to think of like this year as your rebranding year, right? You want to become that goal. You want to become that person who achieves all these big goals that you have, and actually like follow through with every single thing that you put on your vision board, every single thing that you are dreaming big of, right? So we want to think of a tagline, a North Star that we always refer back to, so that when we have those hard days, when we lose a bit of clarity, when we are due on our cycle, whatever it is, like, because I get it, we want to always lead back to that North Star. So whenever you're doing an action, whenever you're about to think a certain way, right, whether you're about to put energy into something, I actually want you to lead back to where that North Star is, that tagline that we're going to put for our rebrand, to go, okay, does that connect with what that rebrand tagline is? Does that actually connect with what I'm saying I am for this year? Examples of this, right? Wellness era babe, boss babe. Could be the year I become a creator. Another one could be becoming the person I want to be. You sort of get the gist. Like, I want you to think of like, what is the most thing that gives clarity to the overarching message you want for 2026. And I want you to do something that just instantly you feel connected to. So don't think what you think it should be, or don't think of like what other people are doing. I want you to actually think, what do I feel connected to? Because that is going to be the biggest thing that you actually will always go back to. Step 4, we're going to go into 2026 goals divided. So essentially what we're going to do is section off our goals for the year into different categories. What I really want you guys to do is use everything we've made so far, and we're going to cluster that all together to actually create the goals that we want to achieve in 2026. So how I like to do this and section it off is I like to break it down into career, professional or business goals, financial goals, personal or self-development goals, relationship goals, and then health and wellness goals. Now, to actively create these goals that aren't overwhelming, what we need to do is create them into SMART goals. Now, bear with me, do not get bored. I promise you this makes it actually attainable and actually work. So essentially what we want to be thinking about is we want specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Okay, so each goal that you set needs to be in those brackets. So you need to break it down into those SMART goals. This, I promise you, it's great to have a goal. I want to hit X amount in my financial career per month, but we need to make it and break it down so we can actually do those steps to get there. For instance, if I take a goal of mine, which is I want to be better with my finances, right, with budgeting, that is so wide open. Like, that is great, that's an amazing goal, but like, how are we actually going to be able to maintain that, able to achieve that, like actually make it happen? Because if you're anything like me and you like to see a new Damson Mudder mug, or we see a new Honor Active set, it is hard. So we are going to create actual SMART goals for that goal of being better with our finances, like this. I'm going to get specific, okay? So for example, instead of saying I want to be better with my finances, I'm actually going to say I'm going to create a Google spreadsheet which is going to track my finances, and I'm going to do that every Sunday. I'm going to allocate a time every Sunday to do that. That way we've got that overarching goal that we want to achieve of being better with our finances. We've actually created a goal, a step to make that happen. Does that make sense? Hopefully you're with me. Hopefully this makes sense. That way you can actually be specific with the actions that you need to take. So I know that I need to spend my Sunday for half an hour. I know that I need to spend half an hour creating the spreadsheet first, and I reuse that and I use that every Sunday. Hopefully that makes sense. Right, another example that I have is I want to get stronger and grow my glutes. Right, awesome goal. We all want a fat ass. Like I'm here with you. Like we all want it. It's a 2026 goal, right? Both fantastic. There's nothing specific or tangible to actually like grab onto, quite literally yet. So we need to make these specific, we need to make it SMART goals, right? Great example of this would be saying something like, I'm gonna hire a coach that specifically focuses on glute growth and use that expertise to understand what I'm doing and be able to follow a plan, because we're using that to actually create an actual step, to take out the guesswork, to ensure that you're going to fuel more frequently and plan your meals to fuel more frequently. And like another thing, if you would break it down even further, could be if I want to grow my glutes, I know that I need to fuel better. So a great example of this, if you break it down even further, is I'm going to allocate an hour on a Sunday to plan my meals for the week, or meal prep X amount. And that way you're just creating that overarching goal of I want to get stronger and grow my glutes, and you're actually breaking it down into actionable steps. So I want you to do this with every single category that we have created for the goals, and start getting specific with that. Understand how could you measure that. So if I was going to do the glutes, maybe I measure and take photos, checking photos every week. If I do my finances, obviously I'm using my Google spreadsheet so I can see how much I'm spending. Again, get measurable with it. Achievable. So I actually want you to ask yourself, how achievable is this to complete within this year? Or another example is, I want to grow my glutes by 10 centimeters within this year. Again, achievable versus saying double the size. Hopefully that makes sense. You're actually like breaking it down. Relevant. How relevant is it to other areas of your life? And time bound. What time are you going to give to allocate towards this goal? So now you've been able to write and section down those different goals and in their different categories, and break them down into SMART goals so we can actually see how we're going to make that achievable, what actionable steps we need to take to do that. So we've got those overarching yearly goals that we wanted to create in step 4. Okay, now we're going to bring this into planning in step 5 of dividing your year into 2. Split it down the middle. So the first example, if I took this side, what you would do is half 1 would be January to June. Half 2 would be obviously July to December. And what you're going to do is even break that down further. So an example of this could be, you could break it down to from January to March is going to be really where you focus on your goals as a discovery phase, being experimental with things, being open to change, being open to actually what fits, decide what's right for you. So for instance, maybe this is where you search the best tools to actually track your finances, or maybe different apps. Maybe it's you look into different coaches, maybe you look into the results they've gotten. You can see where this is going. And then if we look at like April to June. This is where you double down on what works. So you find the rhythm, what's actually working with your goals. As an example of this, what I have put is, you've been following a training plan for 2 months right now. You're starting to feel and see the effects of doing that training program for 2 months. So what you're gonna do is actually keep applying what's working and letting go of what maybe isn't. So for instance, maybe you have set yourself too high of a goal, which you know that actually doesn't feel aligned. And that way you can actually create a space where you double down on what works and get rid of what doesn't. July to September could be, maybe this is where you put the foot on the gas, you really put your head down within your goals, you have that clarity, you know what's working, and that's your sort of push phase. And then maybe we look towards October to December, really where you cluster everything up, finally tie any loose ends and complete any small goals that you wanted to achieve by the end of the year. Hopefully that makes sense, but it just makes it more viewable for over the year to see, right, what am I putting where, what phase am I in, how am I gonna approach this, just so that you have clarity going into each month what that actually looks like. Which leads me into step 6, the monthly breakdown. This is gonna be your golden start, trust me, this is gonna be so good, okay? So what I suggest, I know I have delusional goals at times, and you probably do. You've probably written down some big ass goals and some goals that probably feel very scary, but what we wanna do is still have those delusional goals, but also make them achievable. And this is how we're gonna do it. So I want you to break it down into further monthly goals. So obviously we've created the overarching goals for the year. We've broken down into what phase we're going to do it by splitting that year in half. Now we actually want to be like, right, what am I actually going to do each month and how do I make it actually attainable? So what I'm going to make you do is I want you to create 3 mini goals for each month. So using your goal sections, obviously like we said, business, financial, relationships, personal development, health and wellness, etc. You're gonna use those goals. So if I take an example in January for myself, I honestly wanna think, okay, what in January, what are my key focuses for January? By the end of January, I'm like, that is done, that is complete. I am a step closer towards my goal. For me personally in January, what I've selected is business and career, financially, and health and wellness, okay? Those are the 3 goals that I'm focusing in January. So make sure that that gets done, okay? Those are the 3 goals. First goal in business and career is to focus on growing my YouTube and Instagram. Hi, I'm so glad you're here. Literally, I love that you're here. I love YouTube so much. So one of my biggest goals is that I really want to grow my community and following, so I can continue to help and reach more women and actively just create a community like-minded like myself and just make videos that make everyone happy and make cozy content with my puppy soon and just everything, right? I love it. And then if I look at my second goal, which is my financial goal, I've never done this before, so I'm not gonna lie, it's a big goal move. I've been putting this off. I've been putting this goal off for like probably years. I want to invest for the first time, but because I've never known where to start, it's put me off. But this is the year, this is January, I want to set myself up, and I've chosen it in January, set myself up for the year. If I invest this year and start getting a financial advisor and invest, that is that, and step my foot into that for the rest of the year, and it's set up. Does that make sense? So that's why I picked that in January. And then the third goal is I want to continue to find more helpful answers in regards to my health journey. So if you're new here, obviously with my PCOS and thyroid condition, so what I want to keep investing in is into my health and testing for that. So what I've done is in January, I want to get my GI gut map test and my gut tested to make sure that there's no gut dysbiosis or overgrowth or bad bacteria, which I believe there's going to be from my eating disorder days. So what I've actually done is set myself up for the rest of the year, and I've already got that. I've actually already ticked that goal off in January already. I've made that so that I can then put protocols in place for the rest of the year so that my health is in the best place, so I can then have the energy to go into other sections within my goals, so I'm the best place. So think of any goals and any 3 goals that feel aligned for you and feel like you need to set them up in January, hopefully for like a most successful year for you, and that's what I would do. And now we're going to bring it all together, okay? So we have 2 final steps, and these are like the final stages to get where you need to get to actually make you the best version of yourself in 2026. Step 7, autopilot your goals. This is honestly a game changer. I did this last year and it made my life so much easier, and honestly I cannot tell you, you guys need to get on this. So for us to actually make this work, make these goals that we have set happen, we need to make non-negotiables. We need to make habits or routines literally second nature to us so that we don't even think about it. We just literally are on autopilot towards our goal and we make it happen. This sets us up for success because if you think about it, when things happen, when life gets in the way, our menstrual cycle happens, we feel tired, we feel emotional, we lose focus on our goals or get distracted. It happens, you're human, right? We want to make it so easy to hit our goals that it's literally just, we know it's going to happen by making these autopilot habits and routines in place. So if I take this for example, and I take my goal as an example of growing my YouTube and Instagram platforms, right? I'm gonna take it as an example. To be able to achieve that, I need autopilot habits and non-negotiables for me to actually make it happen. So an example of that is I'm gonna spend the start of each week organizing and planning my content for the week. I've set up a clear plan and I say to myself on Monday, before I go to the gym, before I do anything else, I sit down my notepad and I write my content that I'm gonna film for the week on Monday, so it's planned and I know what day I'm doing it. That way I know that I can organize which days and what I'm doing, what I'm allocating, what I need to get done. So I'm going into the week knowing that I'm going to plan and already film that piece of content so it happens. And also this allows me a bit of time to like reflect on like, okay, what content did well, what didn't, what do people like seeing, what do they want to see more of, and I can double down on that so I move further towards my goal of growing my subscribers on YouTube. So doing these habits are literally going to help embed almost like a habit, and it just becomes like something I do at the start of each week. That way this autopilot of this habit, I know that by the end of each week I've got 1 video in, I've got 4 clips on Instagram in place, everything's set up, and I'm achieving that goal without second thinking about it. Because like I know to grow my following, I need to be consistent. I need to keep showing up. I need to keep trying to get better. By making sure I plan out the start of my week, I'm autopiloting to get a step closer to review the data, keep consistent, keep moving forward. And the whole point of this is like to lay out the foundations. I want you to literally think of it like you're building a house. Like when you build a house, you don't just suddenly put in all the furnishing, like all these pillows, right? You don't get like a pillow and like start putting the furnishing in. You actually build the foundations of concrete. You put the bricks, for instance, right, in place before you put like the lamps and pillows, fluffy throws and stuff. You need to have foundations in place to be able to then push forward. I don't know if you guys can hear the dogs in the background of my building. Absolutely beefing outside, I love it. Right, our final step. This is the final step, guys. So reel in, keep focused. This is our final step. And if not, this is the most important step that you guys need to really lock down into, because it's gonna help massively and it's helped me, like I count on you in Spain. And honestly, this is like a step where it brings your big goals to life. And even after January is over, even after you have setbacks or feel like something isn't working, this step is actually going to force you to succeed. And this is going to be where you need to be honest with yourself, okay? So this is when you're going to have a big sis chat with yourself. You can have a deep chat and reflection, and it's not easy, but we do the hard work, okay? I do the hard work, you do the hard work. So many of us set unrealistic expectations, goals of ourselves, and do not get me wrong, right? Do not get me wrong. I love, like I said, setting delusional goals. Like I want to set the most unrealistic goals and achieve big things, right? I love that. I want to dream big. I want to make sure that I have the biggest, most happiest life ever. And I'm someone who genuinely believes that you can have that, like quite literally. But sometimes that does mean that we need to have patience. In time, it will happen. And honestly, the whole point of this, the rebranding, the planning of 2026, it's not about starting over again. It's not about completely ripping out the page of every single thing that you've done previously and every single piece that you've built so far. It's far from it, actually. It's not about rewriting everything. Like, I really want you to ingrain that in yourself. Like, I don't want this video to be about getting to the end of January feeling really, really overwhelmed. What this is about, getting that little bit closer, that 1% closer to your higher self. That person that you're already creating in 2025, like she's in there, she's right here with us, like she's with me, she's with you. That person, you know that you genuinely have the capacity already within. I don't want this video to be overwhelming. I don't want it to be for you to get to the end of January feeling super overwhelmed, pressurized, feeling guilty if you've maybe not achieved something that you wanted to achieve, right? I want you to realize that this is in place for us to keep going, to keep adding, to keep being 1% better every single day. And for us to be able to do that, for us to get a step closer to being our best self, to doing and having that dream life that we know we deserve, this is about us being honest with ourselves, right? So as I said at the start, this isn't gonna be easy. I do not want you to rush this. I'm gonna make you do hard things, but this is why I want you to review every week or month. Just start there. Start every month. See what serves you, see what isn't. That's as simple as it is. And I also want you to look at the win and the losses, or maybe the failures of that month, and be honest with yourself, okay? I want you to see this all as data feedback, because that's actually all it is, right? So if something hasn't gone to plan, okay, cool. Why isn't it gone to plan? I want you to use that as feedback so that you can make then February even better. You know what you need to do, you know what you need to maybe change. I genuinely want you to go into this 2026 planning, this rebrand, feeling so inspired and excited and feeling confident in the steps that you need to do to get there. I want you to like set yourself up for success. And obviously we've we've gone over that by putting like clear goals in place. Oh my God, can you hear the dog? Clear goals in place, actionable steps into our goals. I want to be truthful with you. Like, if you can't do that yet for some of your goals, like some goals might be really, really big. And if you can't do that for some of your goals, that's genuinely okay. But maybe that means those goals need to be put on pause for maybe like the first quarter of the year. Like first quarter of the year, put it on pause until, big words, until we have that plan in place for you then to execute it. So it doesn't mean that it's not going to be achieved. It just might mean that like right now, right this second for you, it's not aligned. It's not the thing that you need. And honestly, the best advice I've had over the past 10 years of training, being self-employed for literally my whole life, and building 3 businesses since I was at age of 17, which actually blows my mind that I'm gonna be 28 soon. I've been able to move across the world twice, like insane. Like I still shock myself and actually realize like how proud I am of all the things I've achieved. Don't get me wrong, I still have loads of things that I wanna do. I'm far from perfect. I have that delusional goal that I know that I can achieve so many things, but I've realized, and the best advice I'm gonna give to you, a goal is only a dream if we don't have a plan in place to achieve it. I'm gonna say that again. A goal is only a dream if we don't have a plan in place to achieve it. Let that sink in. So I want you to create that plan so that dream becomes your reality, and I want you to use a framework from today's video to make that happen. You have the steps to literally break it down, to make it happen, to make 2026 your year to become the best version of yourself. Like, we are not getting in our head. We are stopping the overthinking, or minimizing it at least, because trust me, I found myself yesterday doing it. We're minimizing it to get better so we actually can do the actionable steps to make it happen. So now you guys have literally all the steps. I want you to take some time to reflect on it. I want you to take some time to actually absorb, and what I'm gonna do is pop all the notes in the description box below. And I want you guys to honestly, to please comment and let me know what your goals are for 2026. Let me know even what your North Star tagline is. Like, I would love to know what your North Star tagline is. Mine is, yeah, I am the brand. That is my tagline. So I want you guys to tell me what yours are. And if you guys have enjoyed this video, I honestly, like I said, one of my goals is to grow my YouTube. So if you have enjoyed it, please, 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 please like the video and subscribe. It's completely free, and it genuinely means the world to me. I celebrated yesterday getting over 1,000 views on my video for the first time, and it makes me so happy that you guys enjoy these videos. So if you have, I would massively appreciate if you drop me a subscribe, because I make videos like this every single week, and it is my goal. So if you do, then I'm a step closer to my goal, but also it helps you get a step closer to your goal because of this framework video. So I really massively appreciate it. So that is all from me. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will catch you in next week's video when I'm going to be back with a little bit more of a casual video. And apart from that, I'll chat to you in a bit, and I'll finish my Paddington coffee. See you in a bit.